Welcome to the Vocational Education Podcast. Here's your host, Dr. Dan.
Developing your assessment practice means taking it to the next level, stretching beyond just the conducting of assessments to being able to advise on assessment situations. So how do you currently keep on top of all the information that's circulating around in the industry, perhaps within your own training organisation? For example, you could use things like peer discussion forums, podcasts, blogs, other articles, mail-outs, conference workshops, and even websites. Wherever you gather your information, especially online, make sure it's from a legitimate industry source or from colleagues and other education providers that you trust. Make sure that it's updated regularly. And perhaps consider using a small assessment opportunities checklist like this one. For the purposes of assessment, we're interested in knowing how you incorporate these ideas into your practice. Do you have a professional development plan? Do you attend and provide feedback at assessment workshops? Or perhaps you've organised or participate in a community of practice, where groups of like-minded or skilled professionals get together and discuss assessment situations and practices. As a professional workplace assessor, we need to be aware of and utilise a range of assessment methods. Some common ones include observation, practical and theory tests, but even simulations and workplace projects. Each is designed to capture the knowledge, skill or attitude of our particular candidate. Questioning for knowledge, observation for skill, and professional judgment for attitude. Now let's look at how we break down a unit of competency or learning module to see how it relates to assessment. Firstly, let's look at the unit application. This describes how the unit would be applied in a workplace, followed very closely by the elements and performance criteria. These describe the essential outcomes of what needs to be performed, and the criteria need to be shown to prove that outcome. Foundation skills, just like the dimensions of competency, must be implicitly included in all assessment items. Finally, we have the performance evidence and knowledge evidence. This guides the creation of the assessment tools, specifically the types of performance we are looking for, knowledge evidence we need to gather through questioning, and the conditions under which we can run the assessment. And as a tip, always remember who the assessment is for, where it is to take place, and how it is to take place. This should all be information located in your training and assessment strategy or assessment plans. Assessing the vocational competencies of workers is an incredible responsibility. And as such, as a professional assessor, we need to model ethical and compliant practices. What are some ways we can do this? And as a competent professional assessor, you may be required to lead others in the workplace. Consider your assessor group's needs, things such as professional development requirements, looking at a current list of existing skills through a skills audit, looking at areas to highlight for improvement, discussing those areas of improvement and implementing a decent plan. Lastly, consider how you currently improve your assessment approaches both personally and within your workplace. Do you monitor the current processes, highlight these areas for improvement, and do you initiate assessment moderation and validation when necessary? Opportunities for improvement exist everywhere around a training organisation. It's your role as a professional assessor to seek them out and implement the best possible approaches in your workplace.